Hi friends, Cole here. Thank you all for joining me in Guatemala, and wanted to do a short Bakasana tutorial. Crow pose, Bakasana. So this is an arm balance that takes you to so many other arm balances. And I wanted to show you some tips, some tricks, and some preps to get into it. Yeah? All right. So let's start on our back, actually. We're going to do crow pose on our back. Good place to start. Pull your knees into your chest. Just begin to rock side to side here. Then place the hands up. And we'll just take a moment here and we'll kind of stretch out the wrist. So pull the fingers back on both sides. You can rotate at the wrists. So it will be on the wrists a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Un momento. I'm going to start taking some Spanish classes here. So I'm using the few words that I know. And then clench the fist and let them go. Like you're flicking water off your hands. This kind of warms them up a little bit. All right, and let that go. Maybe again, grab the knees. And we're going to set up this shape from the floor up, upside down. So we're going to set it up upside down, yeah? So we're going to plant the hands up, and you're going to bring the knees up into the triceps. So you're going to kind of lift and round the low back a little bit, yeah? So this will be that feeling. So you can imagine bringing your pubic bone, like you were going to curl it towards your belly button. So it's this sensation. This is going to engage the abdominals. You're also going to round the back. You're going to protract the scapula, which means you're going to separate the scapula farther away from each other on the back. They're going to spread. So we're going to round by tucking the pubic bone, rounding the upper back and pushing up. Fingers are back. It's like you're pushing at the ground. The knees are going to come up into the triceps. Toe pads come together and they press together. Yeah? And release. That's lots of little things, huh? Let's do it again. So the hands first. We're going to plant the hands down. Fingertips are really, really wide and alive. Plant the hands. Bring the knees up into the triceps and then push into the ground, or push into the air in this case. Push, 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 push. Bring the toe pads together. And then exhale, release. So you can even feel it's quite energetic even when you're on your back. Yeah? Let's go ahead and rock up. And let's come into tabletop position. So again, coming into protraction, retraction, protraction. So these are different ways that the scapula moves. Scapula is the shoulder blade on the back. So I'm going to bring the heart down and squeeze the shoulder blades together like they are. You're going to squeeze an orange in between them. So this isn't cow pose. We're just kind of bringing the shoulder blades together. So we're not really arching the back so much. And then push the ground away, protract the scapula so they are coming apart. You can kind of see right here, you can do it standing as well. Protraction, retraction. So do it both ways. So we did it on the floor. Let's do it seated so you can feel. Retract the scapula, protract the scapula. These are the two. Yeah? Retract and protract. Plant the hands. Let's do it here. Retract, protract. Yeah? You can kind of get that feeling. Now let's scoot down to the hands. Let me talk about how important the hands are. We're going to be pressing down through the fingers and the knuckles. Not so much on the wrists. This will exhaust your wrist quite quickly. So we really want to press down through the hands. And I talked about this in the downward dog tutorial, if you've watched it. There is something called hastibandha, and it is the hand lock. So it's kind of like how our hands connect to the earth. And it's so important whenever we're balancing on the hands. So you can think of Hasta Bandha as gecko palm. Maybe that helps you connect to that, visualize. Another way that I describe it sometimes is as if you had like a little ladybug that was going to live underneath the center of your palm. So you wanted to press down everywhere except the center of the palm. The center of the palm slightly lifts up like a suction cup. So maybe that one lands. Hopefully one of them will. But it's a pressing down everywhere and a slight lift in the center of the palm. This is going to protect the wrist, and it's also going to give you some upward energy. So one cue that I use a lot in all my flows, I'm sure you've heard me say it, is downward energy creates upward energy. So we're going to push into the earth to allow us to lift, yeah? Because energy goes down, it comes up. In order to get it up, we have to press it down. Let's try. We press down, protract the scapula, press into the earth, and then slightly lift on the center of the palm. We're also lifting in the back of the heart. This is kind of what this feels like. And release. Maybe grab a block. You don't have to use a block, but I'll just show you this option. You can place the block right in front of the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees, get long from the crown to the tailbone, maybe a little wiggle. And exhale, forward fold. Twice more like this. Inhale, halfway lift, get long. And exhale, fold. Once more. Inhale, length. And exhale, plant the hands. Plant them at the top of the mat. We're going to step onto the block. So plant the hands, bend the knees down. We're just going to connect with the hands first. Now lift the hips up. We're not going to come into crow pose with the hips down because then we want to lift them up. So we want to start with them lifted, and this is what the block is helping us with. We're going to bend the elbows. The knees are going to come into the upper tricep, and it's very important that our gaze is forward. So if I'm looking down, I'm going to go down. I don't want to go down. I want to go forward, yeah? So very important that the gaze is forward. You can think about lengthening the back of the neck and lengthening the heart. There's this kind of sensation of like a turtle. You can even do it here. Plant the hands onto the ground. And then lengthen the back of the neck and lengthen the heart forward. So it's like as if your hands were stuck to the wall and you're energetically pressing them down in order to lengthen. Can you feel that? Energetically press the hands down as if you're pushing into a wall to lift, like you're going to try to like just sneak a peek right over the edge of something. I just made up that cue, so maybe that resonates. One more time. Press the hands down and then lengthen like you just almost can see above the fence and release. Maybe that worked. Let's see if you can find that same feeling with the hands on the mat, and we'll continue on. So you can use the block underneath the feet or not. What this is doing is helping to lift the hips a little bit. One more thing that I'll say is that men's center of gravity is not center of gravity, but their width is normally in the shoulders. Women's is normally in the hips. So the balance leverage is a little bit different. So just keep that in mind. Women might need to lift our hips a little bit higher whenever we start. Something to think about. All right, we plant the hands down. We bring the knees up into the triceps and then begin to shift forward. Gaze is forward. You can energetically pull the hands down to lengthen the gaze, lengthen the neck. Maybe, well, let's protract the scapula here. So find that roundness in the back. Did you feel that? What this does is it turns on the serratus, which gives us strength. Maybe you lift one foot up off the block, place it back down. Maybe you lift the other, place it back down, sink back. So you can come onto your booty in the middle, or you can come into yogi squat, malasana. I'll show you another option. Often people's fear here is that they're going to fall forward. So remember, gazing forward really helps that. We're really thinking about lengthening the heart forward. So I'm going to show you another place that we can use the block. And you can use it underneath the forehead. We'll see if I can use it on this side. Or on the high width. You'll see which one works better for you. So you'll place it, you kind of have a triangle with the block and the hands. Lift the hips up. Bring the toe pads together. This is my preferred way to get in. I like to bring the toe pads together because every place where our body is touching something, touching the floor, or two parts of our body are touching each other, then it helps and aids in proprioception. Proprioception is our sixth sense. It allows our body to know where it is in space. So every chance we get to give our body some extra cues in order for it to understand where it is and find balance, the better, especially when we're trying to balance on our hands. The extra help could help. So that being said, press the toe pads together with a slight separation in the heels, but that press together will have a little bit of assistance here. Making a triangle with the block in the hands. Bring the knees up into the triceps. And we're going to shift the heart forward. I think I'll need to scoot it up a little bit more. We're going to shift the heart forward. Bring the head down. So I'm going to have to lift up a little bit here. And I can bring the head down to the block and lift the knees up. Protract the scapula. And maybe release down. So it's another option that you can use if you have that fear of falling forward. Maybe whenever you're trying to figure out where it should be, how far out, if you have a friend that can maybe hold it for you so until you figure out where it needs to be. You don't have to use either one of those, just options. Let's try it again. Let's come into a forward fold. Grab opposite elbows, let the torso hang. Inhale, halfway lift, find length. And then exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, bring the knees up into the triceps. As you shift the heart forward, shift the gaze forward. Push down to protract the scapula. Pull the belly towards the spine. Maybe the toes lift, maybe they don't. One more round of breath. And exhale, come down. The toes never need to lift, yeah? We're just getting the sensation. Maybe you just rock back and forth. Play with the leverage. Come to the toes and back. Come to the toes and back. Now there's a difference here in doing it with protracted scapula and doing it like this. Protraction helps you to engage the scapula, the serratus, and pulling the belly towards the spine is going to engage the front side of the body. So engaging the back, engaging the front, pushing into the earth for the downward energy that creates the lift. So play around with this. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let me know how it goes. And any other poses that you would like me to see kind of break down nerd style. And we'll see if we can make it resonate and land in your body. But thank you so much for joining me and continuing to let me be part of your practice. I'd love to practice with you live. I have lots of workshops and retreats all around the world, most all of the time. So if you're interested in my schedule and getting together and exploring on the mat together, then check out my website, coldchanceyoga.com. And if you're looking for longer classes, you can head over to Om Yoga Tribe. Link is in the description here, that I have longer classes to deepen your practice. So that's all I got for today. Have fun.